It started with cutting paper. Now I'm looking at my own neck. I have to type this with what's left of my left hand, so forgive the mistakes. My right hand, well, it looks right for the first time. It looks perfect. My partner, Persephone, collects antique sewing tools. Thimbles, needle cases, weird old bobbins. She loves the history in them, the stories held in the worn metal. I thought I'd found the perfect birthday gift for her at some dusty stall at a county fair. They were shears, technically. Long, heavy, made of black iron pitted with age. The handles were two unadorned ovals, brutally simple. The blades were what got me. One was lean and sharp, like you'd expect, but the other was thick, almost like a cleaver, with a strange, subtle curve to it. The woman running the stall was one of those ancient ladies who seemed rooted to the earth. She barely looked at me when I paid, just took my cash with a hand like a bundle of twigs. "Be careful," she'd rasped, her eyes on something over my shoulder. "They like to finish what they start." I just figured she was a weird old bird and left. Back home, I put them in a box with some tissue paper and went to find the wrapping roll. And then the stupidest thing happened. I couldn't find a single pair of scissors. Not in the kitchen drawer, not in my desk, not in Persephone's craft room. Vanished. I laughed. The irony was thick enough to taste. The solution was right there in the box. I slid the shears out. The weight of them in my hand was substantial, cold and solid. I'd bought a scrap of leather at the same fair to test them on, thinking Persephone would appreciate knowing they still worked. I held the leather taut and brought the blades together. There was no sound, no resistance. The iron just passed through the thick hide like it was water. The two pieces of leather fell to the floor. The cut edge was so clean it looked like it was cauterized. Flawless. I ran my thumb along the edge, mesmerized by the perfection. That's when the blade slipped. It didn't feel like a cut. It was just a sudden, deep coldness in the fleshy part of my palm. I looked down. A perfect, straight red line appeared, welling up with dark blood. There was no pain, not a single throb. I just stared at how cleanly the skin had been parted, how the blood didn't smear but beaded up along the surgical edge. I wrapped the wound, my mind buzzing, and I looked at the box, then back at the shears on the table. Persephone has so many things. Little trinkets she keeps in display cases. This was different. This was a tool. A perfect tool. She wouldn't appreciate them. Not like I could. The decision was made before I even realized I was making it. I wrapped the empty box and put a different gift inside. The shears went into my desk drawer. My shears. The next few days, I found excuses. I had a big collage project I'd been putting off, using old anatomical drawings from the 1800s. I set to work. The shears felt like an extension of my hand. Snip, the clean separation of paper. Snip, a perfect curve around a rendering of a human heart. I was lost in it. The pile of scraps grew around me like a snowdrift. I felt a flicker of something, a brief panic, like I was being buried. I shook it off. This was focus. This was creation. I worked for what felt like an hour. When I finally leaned back, my neck stiff, sunlight was gone, and the moon was high in the sky. My phone said 8 hours had passed. The collage it was confetti. I had meticulously cut every single image into tiny, unrecognizable pieces. There was nothing left but a pile of paper dust. My stomach should have dropped. Instead, a wave of profound calm washed over me. It was done. It was finished. The feeling didn't last. The next day at work, I felt an itch in my palm, a ghost weight in my hand where the shears should have been. I'm a graphic designer. I stare at a screen all day, but I couldn't focus. All I could see were the lines. The hard edge of my monitor, the wire dangling from my headphones, the staple holding a stack of papers together. Everything had a seam, a place where it could be made separate. My coworker Zora has this incredible hair. It's a single thick braid that hangs all the way down to her waist. She walked past my desk and I found myself staring, mesmerized by the tight weave of it, the impossible length. It was wrong. All that beautiful order, just hanging there, unfinished. disconnected from nothing. It needed a conclusion. Later, I was at the water cooler. She was there, filling her bottle. She turned, smiled, and the braid swung like a pendulum. I don't remember taking the shears out of my messenger bag. I don't remember deciding to do anything at all. One moment, the braid was in my left hand, the cold iron of the shears in my right. The next, I was squeezing. The snick was so quiet, so final. 3 feet of hair dropped to the linoleum floor. It coiled like a sleeping snake. For a heartbeat, everything was right. Her hair was a sensible length now. The world felt balanced. Correct. Then she turned. The look on her face wasn't anger at first. It was pure, uncomprehending horror. Then she started to scream. The sound punched through the fog in my head. I was out of there in an hour, a cardboard box with my personal effects in my arms. When I got home and put the box on the kitchen table, it felt too light. I opened it. The only thing inside was the shears. That's when the fear really started. Not just fear of getting caught, but fear of myself, of the shears. I knew they were doing this to me, but the problem was, a part of me didn't want it to stop. The days blurred. I had no job, no routine, just me, the house, and the shears. I started small. I trimmed the corners off every photograph in my house until they were perfect ovals. I cut the ugly frayed tassels off Persephone's favorite blanket. I was just fixing things, making them better, making them right. Then I went down to the basement. The desire was a fever now. I saw the coaxial cable snaking along the wall, a messy, ugly connection to the outside world. I cut it. The internet died. Good. I saw the tangle of extension cords behind the workbench. A chaotic knot. I snipped through each one. The hum of the deep freezer went silent. The house grew quiet. I was cutting us off, severing the ties. Each cut was a release, a step closer to peace. Covered in dust and sweat, I went to the bathroom to wash my hands. I splashed water on my face and looked up into the mirror. And I saw them, my hands. I held them up. They were wrong, so wrong. The way the skin webbed between my thumb and index finger, the slight curve of my pinky, the asymmetry. They were messy, organic, flawed. The shears were on the counter next to me. I hadn't even realized I'd brought them up from the basement. They felt cool and heavy in my right hand. They knew how to fix it. They could make the lines clean. They could make me right. I smiled at my reflection. I placed the thicker blade under the webbing of my left hand, the sharp blade on top. I started to squeeze, slowly. I wanted to feel the correction. I wanted to savor it. The pressure built. The skin dimpled. Then, it wasn't a clean, cold slice like before. It was a searing, white-hot agony that shot up my arm and exploded behind my eyes. I screamed, a raw, animal sound. The spell shattered. I threw the shears with all my strength. They hit the tiled wall with a crack like a gunshot and clattered into the tub, leaving a chip in the ceramic. My hand was gushing blood. The pain was real. Thank God it was real. What the fuck was I doing? Staring at the shears lying in the pristine white tub, a single drop of my blood on the blade, I felt a new kind of terror. They'd had a taste, and they wanted more. They wanted a full meal. Pain was my only anchor to sanity. I grabbed a bath towel, not daring to touch them with my bare skin, and bundled them up. It felt like holding a live thing, something buzzing with malevolence. I ran outside, my bare feet slapping on the pavement, and threw the bundle into the garbage bin at the curb. I buried it under last night's disgusting leftovers, slammed the lid, and ran back inside, locking the door behind me. Garbage day is tomorrow morning. I'm sitting here typing this with one hand, the other wrapped in gauze and throbbing with the pain that keeps me awake, keeps me sane. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to sit here and watch the sun come up. I'm going to listen for the groan of the truck, the hydraulic hiss as it lifts the bin. I just need them to be gone. I know they're out there. I can almost hear them calling from under the coffee grounds and eggshells, promising to make everything perfect. I got them back. The truck was late. My hands are right now. So clean. No more ugly skin between on them. The lines are so perfect, so straight. I think I will fix my smile next. It isn't symmetrical at all.